We got a lot to get to. Let's kick off our opening drive brought to you by Chevy. This is our first down.
This is the Chicago Bears model. They get Ben Johnson. They fix the O-line. They've got their quarterback. They just add some elements to make Fernando Mendoza or Caleb Williams' job easier. The Bears went out and got Joe Thuney, and the Raiders get Tyler Linderbaum, who I love from Baltimore. It's not that difficult. Bears said, we want more help. Let's get a Luther Burden. Let's get another guy. But this is the model. It's not that hard. Ben Johnson comes in. Ryan Poles has really developed into a sharp little GM, young guy. Fix the O-line, get some weapons, play to the offensive coach's strengths. We'll figure out the defense later.
All right. A rapid rebuild is a question that I have for both of you. Do you agree with Colin Cowherd that this is the blueprint and this is the way that things should be done, the way the Bears have done?
I really respect Colin Cowherd. He does a terrific job, but I don't think he's got it right here because the order is out of order. What happened was they got the quarterback, and then they tried to make the quarterback fit with the coaching staff that didn't. Then he had to get rid of the coaching staff. The general manager stayed, and that was generous that he stayed. Then you got the coach. Then you got the offensive line because the coach doesn't work without the offensive line. Why is the coach here? The quarterback is here. Why was the quarterback need a coach? Because the other coaching staff stunk. So it was almost like an accidental situation that they found themselves in. They made the best of it, but I am hesitant to give him too much credit for this was according to the plan and he's a good little GM.
I think that the Raiders did this the right way. Instead of like the Bears waiting a year with the quarterback, the Raiders got the new coach to go with the new quarterback. So I think they did that right, and I think they did the offensive line right, but you're not comparing apples to apples here. If you want to talk about the rebuild started when Ben Johnson got here. That's when they got the offensive line. That's when they got the playmakers in the draft, and they surrounded the quarterback with what he needed to be successful.
Right. Well, if you're talking about a rebuild, you're talking about the roster build, and that comes from the general manager who's now in his fifth season. It hasn't been so rapid, but I do understand what Colin Cowherd is talking about if you are counting the start of this rebuild with Ben Johnson.
Well, that's when it really started. And if you want to start there, then absolutely. Ryan Poles, the decisions that he has made since that point in time have been good ones. So I understand where he's coming from, but the origin of all this goes back before that. And you had to almost like bottom out before you could start building back.
Yep.
We're going to move on to our second down of this opening drive. Dive back into our way too early position battle conversation.
Never too early.
We're going to start with the defensive side of the ball and the cornerback position.
With, 𝗦liche, he's someone that we talked about, Al, DA, and I. We like the way that he covers. We like the play style. And we think there's room for him to continue to improve too. So add competition in that quarter room. And we think that he can positively impact us and give us more depth early. And as he grows into something bigger, we'll see how that goes.
So a healthy Jalen Johnson should be the Bears' top corner come week one. Who do you think is the safest bet to be the Bears' starting cornerback opposite of him? Are there any dark horse candidates that you have your eye on? Obviously, you have Tyrique Stevenson. Yeah. You draft Malik Muhammad, Terrell Smith coming back from injury, and Zay Frazier, he's the mystery.
He's a mystery, and I wouldn't count on somebody that you haven't seen play. I think Tyrique Stevenson is certainly the odds-on favorite and the safest pick. I do think that if Terrell Smith comes back from injury, here's what's interesting about the Bears right now. There's a lot of things interesting, but they're counting on Dayo Odeyingbo and Shamar Turner to come back because they haven't made a lot of activity or gotten a lot of replacements for the defensive line. You don't hear them say the same types of things about Terrell Smith, who was injured earlier, could come back better and play as an important role in this defense as those two other guys sooner. I think he's the dark horse.
He would be a dark horse. My only problem is the injury. It was a torn patellar tendon. I mean, that's a long one. We already know the timeline with 𝗬𝗏. I think Terrell Smith, if he's a creative player, this guy was 6 foot, 200 pounds. He ran a 4.41, 33-inch arms. He started to look good before he did get hurt. So I think he is a dark horse, but it matters how that patellar tendon really fixes up. I like Malik Muhammad.
Yeah.
We've talked about the athletic profile, 10-10 broad jump, 4'4", 240, 29 starts in the SEC. I think this guy's got some real ability. Tyrique Stevenson, his job to lose. There's money on the line, David. Contract years. You will see guys raise their level of play miraculously. So I think it goes Tyrique, then I think Malik Muhammad, and then maybe you'll see Terrell Smith.
Well,
come
Terrell
back from
Smith
his
is a
injury.
gamble. I'll acknowledge that. I think about Muhammad, what I seem to like early on, the laser focus.
Yeah.
You saw that when the announcement, he was just transfixed by something. And you contrast that with Tyrique Stevenson, whose focus has been questioned here or there.
Yeah.
I think Malik Muhammad could be a guy that is hard to keep off the field.
I'm really excited to see what the Bears can get out of Malik Muhammad, a rookie coming in, trying to prove himself. But like you said, Clay, I think you put it best, and I think you're looking at a couple of guys on defense who are coming into their contract years. That's what we saw from Jaquan Brisker last year, guys. Don't forget, and he played some of the best football of his career, so it would be great to see that from some other guys as well. Let's move on to our third down and switch our focus to the defensive end position.
We were excited about the guys that ended up finishing the season on IR, the trajectory that they were on, both Dio and 𝗪𝗏. When you look at it from the start of the season to the point where they both got injured, we saw growth and we saw them trend in the right direction in terms of what we want to see on game day. And I think you saw tremendous growth from Booker when we were finally able to get him back as well. So the combination of us being able to coach better and those guys taking the next step as part of this system, I think we got some pretty good pieces to work with.
It's safe to say that your top edge rusher has got to be Montez Sweat. But who do you think is going to be starting at defensive end on the other side of that D-line?
It's got to be Austin Booker. And I'm not so sure about Dio Dangbo in terms of how many games he'll even play. And same with Shemar Turner. When Ben Johnson is saying that about we need to coach better, it feels like to me he's reading from a script and he's sticking to the party line, because I don't know that he actually, I'm sure he believes that they can coach better. But Clay, if that is your solution to your pass rush issue, then you're going to have a problem that persists. You're not going much further into solving it.
I'm going to start with negative here and then move to positive. Negative, how many snaps did Shemar Turner pop quiz play last season?
He didn't play past October 25th.
74 snaps, and most of them were at defensive tackle. To try to project this guy to be an edge rusher, a defensive end coming off an ACL doesn't make any sense at all. I'm sorry, it doesn't. 74 total snaps in a season, complete projection. Let's talk about Dio Dangbo, coming off his second Achilles injury. Last year, 8 games, 1 sack. I went back to his previous 8 games before that when he was with the Indianapolis Colts, 0 sacks. His last 16 games, this guy's had 1 sack. And now you're telling me this guy coming off of an Achilles is going to come out here and be an edge rusher?
That Ben Johnson's trying to sell this.
It's almost unsellable, but Austin Booker is the part that I believe
Is that the positive?
That's the positive. In his last, from week 15 on into the playoffs, he had 4.5 sacks and 23 pressures. This guy came on strong. In training camp, I was raving about him. Ton of pass rush moves. Engine runs hot. This guy can be a real problem.
What you said there just makes you feel like Bears fans remember. His engine runs hot.
Yes.
He got the Packers flustered. Yes, he got into it a little bit, and maybe through the whistle, whatever the case is, but he's got their attention, and he should have ours.
And there is a chance, and we've talked about this, that the Bears could bring in some veteran help, some of the older guys that are out there still on the market. I just don't think we're going to see them until maybe training camp. They don't want to work in the offseason. They don't want to be at the OTA.
And the price will go down.
And the price will go down.
The closer you get to training
Absolutely.
camp.
All right, let's move on to our fourth down as we take a look at defensive tackles.
And this dude, he's the ultimate competitor. I mean, he is, to your face, he's going to smile, yes, sir, no, sir. I mean, he's the most polite person that's been on the field. I mean, he will absolutely, snatch your soul out of you on the football field. And there's not a lot, he's so strong and powerful. And he's one of the strongest human beings I've ever seen. And it translates to his play. I think, as he continues to grow, his ceiling is way, way high. He's got so much more growing to do as a player. From a technical aspect, because he's so raw right now. So, I think they got a steal where they got him.
Great interview on the Mully and Haugh Show earlier this week. Georgia Tech head coach Brent Key on Jordan Vandenberg, who's going to snatch your soul from you. We know that Gervon Dexter and Grady Jarrett, guys, are going to be the Bears' 2 returning DTs, but they've added a number of players on the interior this offseason, including Neville Gallimore, Kentavious Street, James Lynch, 6th-round pick Jordan Vandenberg. Could we see one of these additions beat out Dexter or Jarrett for a starting spot?
Unlikely, unless there's attrition and an injury, something like that happens. Unlikely. They've got a committee, but they needed the depth. They'll come at you in waves because they have to and they can. Now, I think Vandenberg's an interesting project, but I don't think he necessarily changed how you view a defensive line because of a 6th-round draft pick. Give him a chance, keep an open mind. He could be disruptive. But I really believe this, Clay. There's no other defensive player on the Bears, and we'll talk about this throughout the offseason, under more pressure than Grady Jarrett. He's got the big contract. He had the injury. He's at the point of his career where if he doesn't produce, you're going to start to wonder if he ever will again. He's facing a big 2026.
Yeah, he's a true pro. I have belief in Grady Jarrett. I think this is another positive take here. I think he's going to come back. I'm not saying he's going to be Pro Bowl Grady Jarrett, but he will be a solid starter. Gervon Dexter, this might be my hottest take yet. How old do you think this guy is?
24, 25.
24 years old.
Yeah.
He has still got some time to grow. I know it's taken a while. He was a solid starter last year. I think he has a real chance to take a step and be a difference maker. And then when you go after that, I think it's a crapshoot. I don't know what you're going to get from Jordan Vandenberg. His athletic profile looks good. He did a lot of good things on tape. There was flashes there. The rest of the guys, not so great against the run. And this is one thing about Gervon Dexter. If he gets his run game right, he was ranked 115 out of 127 graded players in run defense per Pro Football Focus, 20th out of 127 in pass rush. He needs to get better against the run. Some of these other depth pieces need to be better against the run too. They have pass rushers on the defensive line. They don't have run stoppers.
If you're right about Grady Jarrett and Gervon Dexter, then the depth pieces won't have to matter as much. That is the best case scenario, but it's risky because you got one guy maybe underachieving, the other guy could be injury prone.